With us now is Eric LeGrand. Welcome to the show, Eric. How are you?
I'm doing awesome, Donna. How are you?
Fantastic. So I told you that I have a Rutgers connection.
Yes, you did. Your family, and we're big with art. We go by that motherfuckers.
Scarlet Knights, so Strombolis, right? Thomas Sweets, right?
See?
See?
Okay, not on camera. Yeah.
So you are famous for many things, but can you talk to the audience about the pivotal moment in your life where you got injured on the field?
Yeah, October 16, 2010, running down the field to make a tackle at MetLife Stadium and put my head down to make this tackle, thinking it wasn't going to be a tackle at all. Unfortunately, my teammate got down there a little bit before I did and he tripped the guy up. Next thing you know, the crown of my head goes into the back of his shoulder blade, and I fractured my C3, C4 vertebrae. And I was laying on the turf, motionless, and I couldn't move and I could not breathe at the same time. And I honestly thought,
It was the type of game where people were watching it. It was the type of injury where people were like, like the breath. When you realized what your diagnosis was, what first went through your thought?
what's crazy about this whole situation is I was so highly medicated in the very beginning, so I didn't remember much. But when I finally came to, like my room was covered with postcards and jerseys. These people reaching out to me. Finally, when I had that conversation with my mother about what actually happened, I was already kind of like moved and inspired to say, you know what? I'm not, whatever you just told me, I'm not going to let that hold me back because look at all this support that's around me. All these people wish to hear from me. It's time for me to fight. So right away, I kind of went into that fight mode.
And fight you have. You are an extraordinary human that has done so many things. You're inspiration around the world. What brings you joy now, Eric? What's happening in your world now that you're super excited about?
Putting smiles on people's faces. Always my whole life, I've been that happy-go-lucky kid, the life of the party, light up the room when I get in there, make other people happy, and make them feel confident and realize that the blessings that they have in their life. And I continue to try to do that in my life and all the things that I do, whether if it's with my foundation, my motivational speaking, my shop two brand, and now my LeGrand coffee house. So everything I try to do has an inspiration.
Now, coffee, I never grew up really liking coffee. I was always a hot chocolate girl. I like
Mhm.
tea. But lately, I do like coffee. I like mine over ice. And people laugh at me. They're like, well, why would you make something hot just to put it over ice? But there's something about the process, right? Where it just kind of comes alive. So, what made you decide to be passionate about coffee?
Well, they might say you might have a little millennial in you now that you're doing the iced coffee, because supposedly that's a whole millennial thing. But the whole thing with coffee is 85% of the world drinks coffee. And when do people need coffee? When you need to be picked up, you need to be woken up, motivated, inspiration. I said, you know what? That's perfect. My brand did that because when people look at me and they think about me, they say motivation, inspirational, this and that. So I'm like, you know what? Why not tie that into coffee and bring unity to the community with our day? And when people drink my coffee, they'll feel inspired.
Absolutely. What advice could you give to other entrepreneurs out there that want to be able to start something new? What advice would you give them, Eric?
I'd take the leap of faith, formulate your team, come up with the plan, and go out there and execute. A lot of times, people just don't even get started because they have an idea. They try to formulate a plan, but then they get nervous. I've already faced, some speed bumps along the way of this journey with the coffee shop, but I've been able to pivot and make moves because you have to always stay by what your principles are of the company and the business. And if somebody doesn't have the same beliefs or people don't have the same beliefs as yourself, you just have to make some hard decisions, and that's had to happen so far in 3 months into our business. But hey, I'm very happy to say we are where we are today in a very good spot, and I can't wait to see where this is going to go.
Well, it is fun to talk to a Scarlet Knight. Go Rutgers. And, one of the things they always say is, are you, right? Are you? Are you ready for living it up? Because we're ready to live it up with you. So your coffee, do you have like a theme song yet or anything? Or like how will you be marketing it and bringing it to life?
So that's funny. So we're going to actually start trying to start planning out a little theme songs. You know how when you see commercials or infomercials, they always have their little catchy lines. And so far, our unity to the community has been pretty catchy. Our daily cup of belief. But now we're gonna start, really start planning and coming up with some those so they recognize when that commercial comes out. Oh yeah, I remember that brand. So when that brick and mortar opens up in September, you'll start seeing some of those funny punchlines coming.
Fun. And that's my background. I started out as a commercial artist and a graphic artist, and I've brought a lot of brands to life. So if you would allow me, I'd love to just have a great conversation with you, maybe sometime this week, just so that we can like percolate things.
Hey, I'll definitely on that for sure. I think we'll have a lot.
And my best regards to your mom. I know that she's an important person in your life. So we're celebrating. It's May. So happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. And Eric, thank you so much for spending a little time with us, and continued success. Keep motivating people. Keep running it into the end zone with your love and your joy and your passion. Because you radiate. You're just one of those cool people. And I was excited today to interview you, and I talked to a mutual friend, and Big Daddy Rich Salgado, and he sends his love and regards too.
I appreciate Rich, Big Daddy. He's the man, and I appreciate you, saying hello to my mother, because she's the one who gets everything going behind the scenes. Happy Mother's Day to all those out there, and thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, and we'll be sharing a cup of Joe. Actually, hey, wait, hold on. From my house to your house. Here we go, right? Woohoo! Thanks, Eric.
Yeah, come your way.
All right, bye-bye.
Take care.